Hi, so in this video I want to talk about a dream that I just had today, and I feel this is an interesting dream because it has there's the concept of fear and anxiety in this dream, because it's one of those feelings that is one of the more common feelings that you have in dreams, and this one had it, so I feel like that I might make a video about it. So in this dream okay, this was one of those dreams that had many parts to it. It was one of the longer dreams that I've had, and there were many different parts to it which were very different from one another. So I'm not necessarily going to talk about all of them, but I'm going to talk about the part that I found to be interesting. So it starts with it's almost, I feel it was nighttime, and I had to be in some kind of, it was either like a classroom or a convention center or something like that. Some there was going to be a lecture or some kind of educational program or something. So I'm on the outside of the building, and I'm just about to go in, and there is this person who is like, she was the coordinator or something. She was like managing the people that were going in. So there's me going into the building, and there's a couple of other people, and she says, "Oh, just go this way and take the escalator over there. Don't be afraid." And it's just a normal escalator, or she said something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but the point was, she was trying to say that there's nothing to be afraid of with this escalator. And I went forward, and by the way, this was when I saw this whole scene. The escalator was the only way to get into the building, so there were no other stairs or anything else. So I I um, I went forward and I looked at it, and the escalator. The thing about this escalator was, it was covered from all sides, and there wasn't enough vertical room for a person to stand. It was like 3 feet tall. That's all the space there was in the escalator, but it was wide enough so a person can kind of sit down and squeeze in and kind of lie down and go up. So it was a scary sight, but that's why she said, "Oh, don't be afraid," or whatever. So so me and these two or three other people went inside, and the moment we went in, the escalator started going up, and it started doing weird things. Like, certain parts of the escalator started opening up, and one of the other people, they kind of felt that a couple of times the escalator tried to suck them in. So now we're inside this escalator, and it's covered from all sides, so it's not that you can get up and jump out, because it's covered from all sides. Now the only way you're going to get out of it is on the other side, because it's going up and there isn't enough room to go back. It wouldn't be fast enough to go back and um, go back to where we started. So now we're in this staircase, and the escalator, and it's starting to do all these weird things, like all these scary things. And this is where that anxiety that is very common in certain dreams, and this feeling of what do you call it, this feeling of apprehension starts to come in. And it's very it's very direct. I'm not sure if I can properly put that into words, but there's a very distinct sense of anxiety and that apprehension that came on. So, but it wasn't a very long escalator, so eventually all of us managed to get out, finally upstairs. And then when we went upstairs, that person was like the coordinator or manager or whatever. She was up there again. God knows how she got there. There was no other way to go up, but she was there, and she said something. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she had this very staring look on her face, where she stared us all down, and she said, "Oh, why did you believe what I said?" Or or she said something like, "Escalators are dangerous things. You should not have believed what I said." And I was just like, there was this very crazy feeling to it, but eventually we just kind of, all of us, just listened to what she said and just decided to go, forget the whole thing and just go forward into the classroom, or whatever, like convention center, whatever it was. So we went inside, and from here, it the dream kind of took a different turn, and um, like the feelings that I had inside the dream, from here on it was different. And this is like the second part of the dream. This was a continuous dream, but I think this escalator part was the first part. I'm not entirely sure because there might have been something before this. So after this whole thing happened and we were inside that room, there were a bunch of desks scattered around, and there was a person who was like a speaker who was talking about something. So after that it was kind of normal, and he talked about whatever, he was talking about something. I'm not sure what it was, and so that part ended, and after that I left that building, or that whole campus, I guess, whatever it was, and I went down the street, and I found that there was this park nearby. So I went inside this park, and this park, the way the layout of this park was, is it's not a real place that I have visited. But when I went into this, the moment I entered into this park, I kind of knew the layout as though I had been to this place before, which was not true. And it felt very familiar to me, as though I had, as though I had been coming to this place for, as though I'd been, I used to visit this park forever. But like I said, it wasn't a real place. And I knew, this part I remember from the dream, is that I knew the moment I entered the park, if I keep going straight and then I turned right, I would get to a bunch of swings where, people kind of swing around on those swings. So I remember this part, and I went straight, and I saw on one side there was like these slabs with people's names written on it, and there were a lot of names on that, and they were, if I remember correctly, they were in alphabetical order. I don't remember the names, but I read many of them. I stopped and I stopped to read those names. It was a black slab with names written. I think um, it was like a whitish color, but not exactly a very bright white, a slightly more mellow white. So I saw those things, and then I went straight and right, and those swings were right there. So I was in that place, and then I looked forward on the other side, and I saw that there was this huge cliff on there. It was just coming straight off the ground and going up. And I looked at that cliff. It was in the distance, and then I looked to another side, and then I looked back. But now when I saw it properly, it wasn't a cliff anymore, because I started seeing windows in it, and it was just some large building, or it looked like a skyscraper or something. So this is how this part of the dream went. After this, I'm not sure if there was much more to this, but after this part, there was another part which kind of continuously blended into this dream, because, like I said, this dream had many parts to it, and it was one of the longer dreams I had. But those ones are kind of fuzzy and not. Um, it doesn't relate that much to the rest of the dreams that I've had, to the rest of the parts that were in the stream. So well, yeah, that's where I think I'm going to stop with this dream. And yeah, but I felt this was kind of an interesting one, especially the way that when I went up the escalator, and she was there, and she gave me that very scary looking um, that very scary looking the way she said it, that you should not have believed me. It was one of those things, because this is something I have noticed happens quite a bit in dreams, that you do a certain thing and you immediately know that you should not have done that, or somehow you kind of got tricked into doing this. So because this is something that I've seen before in dreams, I've had this feeling before. Plus there was that feeling of apprehension while I was inside. that whole tunnel-like thing with the escalator, with those couple of other people in it. So I felt in that way this was an interesting dream, but there wasn't that much of a visual element to it, and there was more of a feeling with this. Except for that cliff part that changed into that building, that was a visual, that was visually interesting that I felt. So, well, yeah, I feel that's where I'm going to end with this dream, and yeah, hopefully with the next videos, I'll try to make more videos more interesting, and try to properly explain and properly put into words what I'm trying to say, because I still feel that with these videos I'm not entirely able to put into words clearly what I'm trying to say. So that is something that I've been working on, and hopefully in future videos that will begin to work out. So, well, yeah, that's where I'm going to end this video, and I'll see you next time.